and welcome to the post-race coverage of the 2020 Open Wheels 500-mile race presented by Mitchell Transmissions. Well, what a race it was. Our race winner, Hugo Olsson from Scandinavia, and we're looking to bring him into the booth in just a moment. What a day it was on Race Spot TV. Big thanks to Arjuna Kankapati and Will Vincent, Aaron Likens for a fantastic broadcast. I feel like we had a really great race and couldn't ask for much more out of the 500 miles than what the drivers provided us today. Just a fantastic effort all around. Great job from the race control crew. Carter McHugh, John Watkins, Michael Chin. Great efforts from them as well. We did everything we could up and down the board to ensure that a clean race was run, and we were able to do just that. So without further ado, we're going to try to bring in a driver today who become a new 500-mile race champion. We bring him into the studio right now. It is Hugo Olsson, driver of the number 39 machine for Powerslide Motorsports, winner of the second annual Open Wheels 500-mile race. Hugo, congratulations. You have won the Open Wheels 500.
Thank you a lot, Tanner.
So obviously there's a lot to unpack here, but first and foremost, just what were your thoughts on today's event, how it played out, how it worked in comparison, I guess, to what you expected the race to really unfold?
Yeah, it was so cool with the three wide start in the beginning. And yeah, it's really well run event, practice sessions and qualifying like the real 500. It was really cool.
Talking right now to our race winner for today's Open Wheels 500, Hugo Olsson. We obviously had a few cautions in the early portion of the race, but things really strung out, and we had some great green flag runs, green flag pit stops. Talk us through the second half of your race, because that's really where the race was won. How did you make sure that you kept an advantage or at least kept level with the guys that were really starting to sift their way to the top in that lead pack?
Yeah, so I knew after when the tires had about 15 or so laps on them that it would be really hard to overtake anyone. So I knew that I had to be up front at the end of each stint to gain as much time as possible. And so that was basically my plan the whole last green flag run.
Talk about that final green flag pit stop. What were the nerves coming onto the pit lane, especially after just the previous sequence beforehand? When you make that pit stop, Costantini has just wrecked on his last stop. What were the nerves like coming on to the final stop when you knew at that point it was just going to be you and your teammate Adam Blocker?
Yeah, I was super nervous. I don't know if it was that stop or the one stop earlier that I missed my pit box, so I had to reverse. But I double checked that it was the brake pedal on the backstretch and not. Yeah. So yeah, I was just trying to hit my brakes, and yeah, it was pretty much perfect. Adam had a bit of a shorter field, but I tried to block him there in pit lane almost.
Yeah, no, and it was timed perfectly. You barely held him off. You guys swapped for a little bit down in that final stint. What did you think you needed to do? You mentioned already after lap 15 it was really difficult to follow somebody. What did you really have in your mind in that final stint once you guys had got past the pit stops? What were your goals? What did you have to do to make sure you were giving yourself a chance there, at least in the last 10 laps?
Yeah, at that point it was just me and Adam, no other. We were just going for it. We were switching back and forward and trying to time it right with lap traffic. And Adam started to get a tow from a lapped car, but after a few corners, I managed to overtake him, and with a pretty late move into turn one. And after that, I got the tow from the cars ahead, and he couldn't catch up again. And the track was so hot in the end, so I could barely go flat in cleaner.
Talking right now to our race winner, Hugo Olsson, showing him on screen in his cool down lap, our race winner at the 2020 Open Wheels 500. Hugo, what does it mean to you, a driver from the Scandinavian club here on iRacing, the first major victory at iRacing Indianapolis 500 since Young O's win in the top split back in 2012? What's it mean to you to take this victory today?
Yeah, Sweden has had some IndyCar drivers in the past. Kenny Breck won the Indy 500 in '99, so there is actually, yeah, we have a few. Stefan Johansson also has run the 500, and now Felix and Marcus too. So it's because of them I started to look into the IndyCar stuff, and yeah, it's super fun.
All right, that is Hugo Olsson, driver the number 39 machine for Powerslide Motorsports, our race winner at the 2020 Open Wheels 500-mile race. Big congratulations to you, Hugo. Well earned. You ran a fantastic race, clean and safe all the way to the end, and you're a deserving champion. Enjoy the basking in the glow of today's win, and you get to become the defending champion of the Open Wheels 500 for the next 12 months.
Yeah, thank you, Tanner. I just want to thank my team, also Powerslide Motorsports, for all the work we have put in to this race. Our race setup looked like it was the best one out there, and yeah, it wouldn't be possible without Powerslide.
All right, that's Hugo Olsson, everybody, the race winner at the 2020 Open Wheels 500. We're going to move Hugo out of the studio at this point, and we're going to go ahead and move Matt Pavelski into the studio. Let's see if we can get him in here now. And now moving Matt Pavelski in, the third place finisher today's Open Wheels 500. Matt, just talk us through your day. You started 7th, was your qualifying position, ended up 3rd. Really run us through the day that was here at the Open Wheels 500.
Yeah, I mean, I came into the race knowing that in order to win, a couple things kind of have to fall my way. I mean, Hugo and Adam had incredible cars. And then as far as I5G went, I mean, Chris and Michele were faster than me in every test session that we did. So coming in, I was just kind of hoping to be a little bit of a tail end Charlie to the I5G train. And that strategy worked for the most part. Chris got taken out. Michele made that mistake on pit in. And so, I mean, it worked out for me. I drove the race that I wanted to drive. It's just, you can't, sometimes it doesn't all go your way, and sometimes someone else brings a much better car, just drives a much better race.
Talking right now to Matt Pavelski, a winner in his own right of the iRacing Indy 500 previously. Taking a look at really the stretch run. You really hung around a 5 to 7 second gap there at the end. What more would you have needed to really bridge that gap? Eventually, at the end, it became a little bit more. What did you need out of the car to ensure that you could run with Hugo and Adam in the closing stages? We went very long on a green flag run in the second half of the race, and it spaced the field out a little bit. What would have helped you in the long run?
I think honestly, for me, it would have just been fewer mistakes. I mean, I was in Adam's draft for a bit after one of those pit stops, and I made a mistake and clipped the curb and lost, a half second down the straightaway. And because I was already, right at the tail end of the draft range, I think around 1.8 seconds back, he just kind of was able to pull away from me. And then, I mean, on the other side of that, I lost a lot of time on my pit ins, which I'll take that because again, like I hadn't been. I mean, my plan to win the race wasn't. I was not going to win this on pace. So I was very conservative on every pit in, which is just that's not good for a long green flag run. So I was just kind of hoping that someone else would make a mistake at a certain point. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could have been more aggressive on the pit ins, and I guess I if I hadn't made XYZ mistake, but I mean, I'm not really sure what else I could have done or needed.
Yeah, no, it was certainly tough. And talk about the track conditions out there. One of the more challenging races we've heard from a few drivers already that they've ever been in. Could you kind of speak to that and how that played out?
Yeah, I mean, it was really all over the place. I think we started the race under 110 on the track temp, which that was just mayhem at the start. Kind of a bit of a land rush there for the first few runs, but once it gets up around 120, 130, it really is. You have 2 laps in order to make a move. After those 2 laps, maybe you can send it around the outside of someone and hope that they lift. But I mean, really, the track temp kind of dictates really the importance of track position. Like when Marco stayed out, I personally, I don't know if that was going to work out, and it didn't for Chris, unfortunately. But I mean, I see why he did it, because track position is that important.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the track conditions really dictate what you do on your strategy.
Well, congratulations, Matt. Third place run today. Your best finish in the Open Wheels 500. Obviously, a strong run. Anybody you'd like to give thanks to and give a moment of props to as we head out of this year's Open Wheels 500?
Yeah, I mean, again, I want to thank everybody over at I5G. Brandon, Chris, Michele, Zach. They put in a lot of work on the setup. Practicing with AJ and with Brendan. Just getting that track time in those race environments that we could do race simulations. Also got to thank Brendan, because Brendan's been doing a killer job on the I5G YouTube channel. And then again, thank you again for putting this race on. It's always a lot of fun every year. Really, 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 really nice to get to Indianapolis and not have it be a pack race every year, and for everybody to conduct themselves accordingly. Thanks again for putting that on.
No, for sure. I can definitely appreciate not having a pack race at Indy. So I try to do the best I can to put on some conditions that hopefully allows the best driver to win, and the other best drivers sift to the top. And I think that's what happened today. So thanks for the props, man, and happy to have you part of the event again here in 2020. We look forward to seeing you back in 2021.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that's Matt Pavelski, everybody, driver the number 75 machine. He finished third today for I5G with Broken Arrow and Apex Racing Team. Going to move Adam Blocker in now, and joining us now is the number 74 machine. Adam Blocker, driver for Powerslide Motorsports, part of that 1-2 finish for Powerslide today. Adam, just kind of give us a brief rundown of your day, and then we'll get into the shootout to the finish after that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously started P8, and beginning of the race was just going to try to take it easy because track was so cool, but I definitely wanted to try to get a few positions to get up to like 4th or 5th, because I knew track position was going to be really important, and it's going to be tough to pass, and I didn't want them to break away. So there was a couple times I made some really optimistic moves down the inside on Brendan and Matt, and unfortunately Chris was playing the team game very well for them, and gave me some dirty air, and I couldn't make it work. I think one time I probably had Brendan and Matt clear, but I just didn't want to risk it at that point in the race. A lot of laps to go, but eventually just settled in, saved some good fuel, did some good pit cycles, and eventually fought my way up into the top 5, and from there I got kind of fortunate on that one restart where Marco was struggling on old tires. Almost put Michele in the wall in turn 4, and then I pretty much knew when I saw him and Demerit going wheel to wheel into turn 2, it wasn't going to end well, especially with Marco pinching his line so much. So I backed out and went really low on the exit, and it paid off because unfortunately Demerit ended up on the wall. But I knew that I thought the race at that point was between me, Chris, Michele, and Hugo. So that was one of our rivals gone. And then I thought that Michele had better clean air pace than we did, but I thought that we had a better long run setup because there was a few times where there was one stint where Hugo was leading, Michele was second, I was third, and I could follow Michele closer than Hugo at the end of the run, and really, it should be the second place car being able to follow closer. So I was optimistic at that point in the race. And then obviously once Michele had his issues on pit entry, I knew it was down to me and Hugo as long as I went green.
Talking right now to Adam Blocker, driver for Powerslide Motorsports. Let's talk about the end, the final pit stop. We knew you were going to have a little bit less fuel than Hugo necessary to put in the car at the very end. It was very close coming off the pit lane. He eventually just barely held you off, and then you guys swap drafted for a few laps until Hugo ultimately held on. What more would you have needed there at the end, or if anything you could have done different? Obviously, the conditions are very difficult today, quite hot, and that makes it more and more difficult as the run goes on.
Well, it was good racing. I mean, I thought the conditions were pretty much perfect. Like, I wouldn't have had any other way. Yeah, there at the end, I think the main thing that could have helped me is if we had just not caught a lap traffic train when we did. So we swapped a couple times, and then I got the lead for a few laps when we caught and passed Adam Crane. And once we passed him, we had a little bit of a gap ahead. Hugo got a run, and honestly, in hindsight, I should have defended it on the inside, but I thought that I was going to be able to get him back again, and then it was probably going to be game over. But unfortunately, we caught the lap cars ahead faster than I thought we would, and basically, I had one chance. I think it was like beginning of lap 188 where I got really close, but it was just half a tenth too short. Honestly, like if I would have had just a little bit better run through 3 and 4, I could have gotten down the inside into 1, and at least we could have fought for a couple more laps. But yeah, once that happened, then I was just trying. Once we caught those lap cars, I was just trying everything on the bars, trying stuff I hadn't tried before, trying all kind of crazy stuff. Almost knocked the wall down like 5-6 times. So and then eventually I just had to stop. Like 7 laps to go, I just killed my tires trying to catch him, and I knew that I pretty much just had to give up or I was going to hit the wall. So that's what I did, and yeah.
Well, you guys certainly seemed comfortable throughout the race. The class of the field this year, and we're very well prepared for the conditions. So a deserving 1-2 finish. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the way out of today's Open Wheels 500?
Yeah, I mean, definitely proud of our work with building the setup and testing. I personally definitely learned a lot during the race setup building process for this event on ovals. So, but yeah, I just want to thank Hugo put in a lot of test laps, almost as many as me, and then Henry, Andrew, Chris, all in the race putting effort in, and even we had quite a few people that were not running but still putting in effort, like Laura and Brian Carey, that would show up to test sessions and help us out, and Richard was there spotting for the race, and friend Derek Moore doesn't even have an iRacing account, but he was helping us with setups and stuff. So yeah, some really good effort from the team, and yeah, just hope to look to build on it, and hopefully repeat as a team next year. But yeah, hopefully I can go one step better next year.
All right, folks, that's Adam Blocker, driving the number 74 machine for Powerslide Motorsports, finished second in today's Open Wheels 500. Congratulations, Adam. Great run today. We look forward to seeing you return in 2021.
Yeah, thanks, Tanner. Just want to thank you for putting on the event. It was a lot of fun, just like last year, and yeah, just looking forward to next year already. So.
All right, that's Adam Blocker, everybody. We're going to go ahead and talk to our last man of the day. And joining us now in the booth, Chris Stouffer, finished 8th today, but came all the way from a qualifying spot of 29th on the grid. Chris, welcome to the booth once again. What kind of a day was it for you out there? Very challenging conditions at this year's race, but you made it through as our most improved driver in the field.
Yeah, it was a difficult drive for sure. I had to pass, felt like the entire field to get up there and through those pit stops and everything. I kind of got shuffled back a little, so had to kind of do it all over again a couple times. But I was able to keep my nose clean for the most part. I did get side pod damage with about 60 laps to go, but even at that point, we had a really good car, so I was able to maintain the position I got up to.
Talking to Chris Stouffer right now. Chris, with all that you went through during qualifications week just to make it into the field, certainly you probably had to feel like you were playing with house money, and then ended up having a great race and a great finish. Talk about, kind of the ups and downs that you had. Eventually you were rewarded because your team was very strong in the race. But when you look back at the month that really was, how challenging was it just to end up with this eighth place finish?
Well, first, shout out to everybody on the team for putting all the time and effort they put into the setup. I can't say enough about them. Even at the same time, like you're saying, the ups and downs, it was certainly a lot of roller coaster ride, we'll say, from the beginning of qualifying to where we're at now. I did a lot of practice races this week and tried to get as comfortable as I could with the car overall, especially with my new wheel, familiarizing myself with where the buttons are. So when we get out there on the race, I wasn't having to think about that and could just drive the car.
All right. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the way out? It was a fantastic run by you today, Chris. Again, our most improved driver on the grid, moving from 29th to 8th.
Well, again, I appreciate that. I like hearing that. I wish I could have moved up a little bit further, but again, shout out to everybody on the team, Adam, Hugo. I could name all of you guys, honestly, because you all put a lot of time and a lot of effort in. Henry, Andrew, everyone. I know I'm forgetting a lot of names here, but kind of in the heat of the moment. So, again, thank you to everybody on the team, and thank you for putting on this this event. It's a great event, and race spot for broadcasting, and yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome. Well, that's Christopher driving the number 13 machine for Powerslide Motorsports. He finished 8th today from the 29th on the grid. So congratulations to Chris. We'll go ahead and move him out of the broadcast booth right now. And that's going to signal an end to today's post-race press conference. For more wrap-up coverage of the 2020 Open Wheels 500-mile race presented by Mitchell Transmissions, you can go ahead and tune in on Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be live with the final edition of Today at the 500, a little wrap-up show. We'll have more interviews with the drivers, talk about the race that was. We hope to talk to Andrew Kinsella that night. He's our Rookie of the Year at the 2020 Open Wheels 500. So congratulations to Andrew and his 7th place finish. Just another strong run for Powerslide Motorsports today on a day that they really dominated the second Open Wheels 500. Well, for everybody that's played a part in today's race day, I appreciate your support, your efforts, and kudos to the drivers. A fantastic run to the finish today. Really pleased with the way that they all performed out on the track, and we'll now start looking forward to 2021 and the third edition of the Open Wheels 500. For everybody at Open Wheels Motorsports Sanctioning, I'm Tanner Watkins, signing off.